Here's an official ranking of the most toxic brunette characters from Gossip Girl. Keep in mind that a lot of the characters from this show were incredibly chaotic, but these were the ones who stood out the most in comparison to the rest, based on just how shockingly toxic they were. Raina Thorp. Raina is a dark-haired beauty from Gossip Girl who wasn't exactly the most toxic person in the lineup, but she still had her faults. She was quite noble when it came to staying loyal to her family and doing her best to find success in business. The most toxic thing about Raina is that she was somewhat of a homie hopper. First, she dated Chuck. Then she started dating his best friend Nate. It was low-key trifling. Vanessa Abrams. Vanessa truly starts veering us into the toxic zone when it comes to troublesome dark-haired characters from the show. That's because Vanessa was constantly doing problematic things that she often regretted. Vanessa acted holier-than-thou and judged wealthy people on the Upper East Side, which led her to look like a hypocrite pretty often. She spent endless time around Upper East Siders even though she claimed to hate them. But when she linked up with Jenny and Juliet to sabotage Serena Vander Woodson, that moment served as proof that she was a truly toxic individual. Blair Waldorf. Blair was the epitome of toxic, even though she's considered the unsung heroine of Gossip Girl by many die-hard fans of the show. Whether you love or hate Blair, the fact of the matter is that she knew how to command a room. She's an incredibly polarizing character who's also super engaging, intriguing, and fun to keep up with. But what exactly makes her so toxic? Well, it's pretty obvious. Blair was a schemer who could scheme in the most elaborate and intricate ways. Let's go over the list of some of the worst things Blair ever did. She bullied Cyrus Rose when she first met him. She treated Vanessa Abrams like she was less than human. She constantly went head-to-head against Serena with frenemy-style BS. And eventually, she banished Jenny from the island of Manhattan. Georgina Sparks. Georgina is toxic for a slew of reasons, starting with the fact that she entered the show blackmailing Serena over the Pete Fairman overdose scandal. Georgina was holding that over Serena's head because she missed living it up with Serena during their party girl days. She lied about her identity and pretended to be someone named Sarah when introducing herself to Dan and Vanessa at first. It was bizarre and super weird. Later, she pretended her baby belonged to Dan, even though she knew who the baby daddy really was. One of the craziest things of all, Georgina ended up with Jack Bass by the end of the show, and we all know just how problematic of a character Jack really was. Rachel Carr. There's no excuse for Rachel's behavior on Gossip Girl. She was Dan's teacher, yet she still pursued an inappropriate relationship with him anyway. Granted, Dan was 18 years old and of legal age to consent, but the power dynamic was still inexcusable. Rachel knew Dan looked up to her as an intelligent and brilliant educator. She used that to her advantage because she realized how easy it was to impress him. Rachel should have spent time pursuing romance with age-appropriate suitors who would have never threatened her career path. In the end, Rachel left Dan heartbroken because she dipped out on the chaos she created and left New York City altogether. Agnes Andrews. One of the most toxic and evil brunette characters on Gossip Girl was definitely Agnes. At first, she came across as a true friend to Jenny since they connected in the world of fashion. Jenny was a fashion designer and Agnes was a model. But their friendship went south when they tried to go into business together. It was bad when Agnes convinced Jenny to start partying and introduced her to a creepy photographer named Max. But it got worse when Agnes set Jenny's dresses on fire. Then worst of all was when Agnes drugged Jenny and set her up to get SA'd by random men at a New York City nightclub. Poppy Lifton. The most toxic brunette Gossip Girl character would arguably be Poppy. She pretended to be a good friend to Serena for a while there before returning to New York City with plans to swindle wealthy Upper East Siders out of their money. She teamed up with Gabriel Edwards to come up with a plan that was incredibly diabolical. Poppy's plan was so intricate that she convinced Gabriel to make Serena fall in love with him so that Serena would start introducing him to her wealthy network of friends and family. Before Poppy became a scammer and con artist, she was also super snobbish and judgmental of Serena. In other words, she was never a good friend in the first place. Who do you think was the most toxic brunette character from Gossip Girl after watching the show? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.